This podcast is for general informational purposes and entertainment only and should not be considered medical advice. Dr. Ashley is not responsible or liable for any advice, course of treatment, or other information you obtain through this podcast, and neither am I. So if you have any real problems, go see a doctor in person.
This is The Full Release with Mo Mandel.
And Dr. Ashley.
Hi.
Oh, hi. It's good to see you there. I didn't see you.
So I haven't seen, I think we're like a TV show, like when
we don't see each other in between episodes?
Yeah.
It's a funny idea. That's right, guys. In case you didn't know, me and Ashley have been cast to play a couple that a married couple that sporadically does a podcast. And when we're not shooting, we are gone.
Yeah.
We have not seen each other since mid-December.
Like all that stuff we always said about us, like our lives.
Oh, that's all written. Yeah, that's all written.
This is a very high-level scheme that nobody cares about.
Right. And we were having some deal with our writers. That's why we haven't been around for a couple months.
Right,
Obviously,
the writers went on strike.
Writers went on strike.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube at The Full Release, our channel on YouTube, you can see the set is different. Our set designer quit. And Ashley's wardrobe stylist has been working overtime.
I mean, I don't think you could go more overtime than the wedding dress I showed up in.
Oh, I think what you're wearing now. Because we didn't even really have a
wedding. So the fact that we didn't even have a wedding.
Oh,
and
you're right, because it was all fake. Right.
In a real wedding dress is incredible when you think about it.
We put a lot of effort into this podcast. People don't realize it. They think you guys don't put a lot of effort into your podcast. It only comes out like at this point every 6 weeks or so.
Very sporadically.
But they don't realize that we have built an entire universe just to portray that we are a husband and wife. I mean, that is a big commitment that I don't think we get enough credit for.
Tremendous.
So before we dive in, thank you guys for sticking with us. We're trying. What can we say?
Yeah.
We're trying.
Okay, we actually are married. That was a joke.
They know.
And if you're turning in for the first time, right, I'm Dr. Ashley, board certified urologist.
Yeah, and I'm Mo Mandel. I'm Ashley's husband, and on this show I portray a stand-up comedian who does a podcast with her.
All right.
And we're excited to we have a great episode. We've
back.
got 2 new nieces. We've each had a niece.
Yes, and by that, we both have both nieces.
That means we both have nieces?
That's how that works.
Yeah, so we're going to learn about baby hormones, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about some questions from our our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can always email us those questions at thefullreleasepod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
What's the phone number?
213-631-3460.
That's right. Please call because we are paying for the number.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the only time they ever call us is to say, please re-up on the number.
Like I would prefer it if you guys called in with your, sex and medical advice questions. But, if you really want to just call in and say hi or read a poem to us,
right.
At least then
ask us for $20 on Cash App.
Yeah, we'll feel like we're getting our value out of that phone number.
I feel like every podcast I listen to now is sponsored by Cash App. When I listen to podcasts, I get jealous that we don't have sponsors.
I know.
So sometimes I just want to be like, I just want to make it up. Be like, anyway, guys, squarespace.com and just give them free ads and see if eventually they'll be like, because it almost makes you sound cooler if you have an ad.
Right. Use promo code full release.
Yeah. Like every podcast is sponsored by Blue Chew, that Viagra thing. How the fuck are we not sponsored by them?
I know. I mean, that's like,
it's bullshit.
That was actually the one. Wait, are you making that up?
No, is that the one who contacted you, Blue Chew?
Yeah. No, well, they were like, what was it? I had tweeted. There was a gastroenterologist who was complaining about like companies approaching him to sponsor him, and he was like, don't they know like if they actually followed me that I don't support their products at all? And I was like, oh, I'm like jealous because nobody's.
I know. Look at this asshole complaining about sponsors.
And then like a friend of mine who's a urologist said something like about bluechew.com, and then it's like they made some like comment to me about potentially being endorsed.
Well, hook it up, y'all, because we just gave you some phenomenal ads just talking about it.
Yeah, it's true. There you go. So yeah, should we kind of?
I want to dive into some Valentine's Day stuff first.
Oh yeah, bring it on.
So
tell us.
How was everyone's Valentine's Day?
They're all screaming into
How was
their
it?
car.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for you to answer.
Screaming into the abyss.
Ashley's wearing a beautiful pink dress inspired by some sort of a psychedelic Valentine's heart, I believe.
Well, actually, this dress was inspired by TJ Maxx.
Well,
or made available by TJ Maxx.
I can't. Is that really where it's from?
Yeah, why?
Because it's like incredible. I mean, go on YouTube, guys. She looks like some sort of Japanese geisha disco dancer.
TJ Maxx. Okay, you can buy like Valentino like $3,000 handbags.
No, I have bought one jacket at TJ Maxx that I got more compliments than anything I ever wore.
Yeah.
It was similar to this.
Yeah, you got to do the searching, but there is a fantastic stuff there. So
No, they do well. I mean, that's why they call it TJ Maxx.
Yeah,
That's why it's got that extra X.
It does have an
really,
extra X.
really for the max.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a guy who has a porn shop called TJ's Maxx. His name is TJ and his 3 X's.
Right. Or like a porn that takes place at TJ Maxx, Triple X.
Yeah. And everyone's got giant dongs or giant hooters. So it's like Max. Everything's Max.
Oh. I was just thinking
that's my idea.
I was just thinking some role play where like, something in the dressing room.
Oh,
like,
that's a really sexy role play. I had to stop by TJ Maxx to pick up some discount socks and things got
like,
out of control.
What do you think of this bra on me? Does it fit me good?
Yeah, like this. Are there sales staff at TJ Maxx? I don't think there's like people walking around helping you get the right fit.
Oh, I think you need a triple D.
This is getting real steamy.
Yeah, there you go.
So I kind of disappointed you on Valentine's Day, I guess we could say, right?
Babe, you are the love of my life, and I am never disappointed by your love.
Yeah, but I feel like you kind of were on Valentine's Day.
I mean, I wasn't. I was sad because you
Talk
woke
about
up,
it.
Okay.
Talk
you
about it.
You woke up in the morning and you immediately like sat down and started powering away at your computer, like working on one of your scripts or something, and that was fine. But, like I had come up to you and been like, oh, you're my Valentine. I was like huggy and kissy with you. And like, you were kind of sleepy and reciprocated a little bit. You didn't initiate anything. And then you went and you sat down and basically like focused on other stuff.
Right.
Like for the first 6 hours of the day. So,
well, it wasn't 6. It was about 4.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't like a very like.
I didn't do a lot. Yeah.
It was just, it wasn't emotional. It wasn't present. It was kind of like, you were kind of like, all right, today's a Tuesday.
Well, it was frustrating because I had ordered flowers and I was like, okay, they're going to show up at like noon because they didn't show. They were supposed to show up the night before. I wanted them to be ready to rock. I had a whole scheme where I was going to go down and get them when they got delivered to the building, and then they didn't show up. So I was like, all right, well, they're going to show up on Valentine's Day. So I figured I'd get some work done. Then when the flowers show up, that's a good segue into romance time.
Oh, romance!
I was going to take it into that romance gear.
Nice.
And then they never fucking showed up.
So you were like specifically being less romantic, so you
could like
I was
conserving.
fake me out.
I was conserving my romance.
Oh, you're conserving it. Like I didn't know it was one of those things. Like how like somebody will pretend to like not propose to make the proposal like more of a surprise or something.
No,
like,
I didn't. Wasn't really that thought out.
That.
I just thought once I taken into romance gear. Then you know me. Once I get in romance gear,
there's a lot of snuggles.
Yeah, and you're stuck in that
really
gear.
Hard.
You aren't going back to writing on the screenplay gear.
Nope.
So that's what happened there. And then also we're in Portland and it's fucking snowing. And I couldn't get a reservation anywhere. And then all the reservations I would have gotten got canceled because of the snow. And so, look, I made you fish tacos. Can we talk about that?
They were excellent. They were.
Yeah.
He's never done that before.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, which like he did because we had a lot of those while we were on our honeymoon, which we also haven't had an episode.
We not talked to him since our fucking honeymoon?
Yeah.
Jesus, we've been bad.
We had a honeymoon, guys.
Yeah, we had a late honeymoon in Hawaii.
It was amazing.
It was amazing, yeah. We got to hang out with turtle friends.
We did.
We made whale buddies.
Touched them. I gave Mo salmonella.
You did not touch turtles. It's like illegal.
I didn't. It's illegal. I didn't do it.
You could get jailed in Hawaii jail, which actually is quite pleasant, I hear.
No, is it really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you have to like your work program that you have to do is you have to like strum a ukulele.
Yeah, you have to do.
They're like, oh, strum this.
A
ukulele.
lot of those people you see doing that dance, they go. They're actually prisoners. Yeah, it's like in Hawaii, like picking up trash on the side of the freeway is like dancing on a luau. It's the same thing.
You just have to. Your work program is like to feed all those roosters that are like running around.
Do you guys know that about Hawaii? There's a fuckload of roosters.
I think it's only certain islands. Actually, I have no idea.
Well, we've been to 2 together, and there were a bunch of them in both. It's kind of weird. They just sort of run the shit, little gangs. Anyway, so moving on to Valentine's. I found a thing on Good Housekeeping of things you could do during COVID for Valentine's. So since I didn't do anything, I thought it'd be fun for you to hear things I could have done.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So these are
we have to say, I mean, it is something for, like we're kind of presenting it in this gendered way, like it's your responsibility to do all
No,
these
it
things.
is gendered. The whole holiday is gendered.
Although that said, I did give you a gift. I did give you a gift.
The Old Navy shirts?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Were you asking like those don't count?
Well, no, those count, but they're not like a Valentine's gift. Like I didn't
but,
like
what,
just
do
get
you
you like
flowers or chocolate.
No, but that's why I'm saying
I did get you chocolate also,
but
but
then you ate them all.
I ate it for.
I mean,
Man,
but
we're,
I
like,
think it's
failing
fair
at
to
this.
say that Valentine's is a gendered gift. I didn't see a lot of women posting about their, significant people as much as I saw men posting about their, significant people.
Well, maybe all the men just love their wives more than their wives love their men.
Well, it could be the case.
All right.
Anyway, these are things I could have done.
We will give you medical information
we will.
later.
And
so you know.
I want
Coming
you to know,
at ya.
babe, we this marriage just started. I know I fucked up this Valentine's Day, but there's a lot of Valentine's Days left, and
To fuck
you
up.
can expect some of this. I could have, according to goodhousekeeping.com, things I could have done during a COVID Valentine's, make breakfast in bed.
You could have done that.
I did not do that.
No, you didn't. Also, I always wake up before you.
Yeah.
Like there's not
And I don't
every
eat
day.
till like 1, so it's tough.
Has there ever? Well, yeah, but it would be for me to eat
Oh, right.
from
right.
you.
Yeah.
But has there ever been a day in our entire lives that you've gotten up before me?
Maybe we're going to have to
Ever.
get, sometimes I have to fly to a gig or something like that.
That's it.
Wear matching outfits. We've never
How
done
is that
that.
a Valentine's?
I don't know
thing?
how that's a Valentine's.
I didn't know that was.
I don't think that is.
Isn't it funny also because like Valentine's is about romance theoretically, but once
Yeah.
you have kids, like it then becomes all about your kids getting things, right? Like when I was
Yeah,
a kid,
I
we'd always
mean-
get like candy from our mom. So then it's like, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Because like you don't feel
Your
romantic.
mom was trying to smash.
Yeah, it's like
No, I don't know. It's because kids just take over everything, basically. It's like I just had my brother just had a second kid, and they had to give the first kid a gift that they had to pretend was from the second kid because the first kid needs to feel like special still.
and the funny thing is like when you're a kid, right? Like I mean, you have to you bring Valentine's to school and you give a card of Valentine's to like every kid in the class.
And your teacher, which I think, given what teachers have been up to, you should stop doing.
But it's funny because, of course, then not only do the parents have to give their kids a gift, but they also end up being stuck like helping their kids write all these Valentines
Yeah,
out.
no, I mean,
or if
kids
your
are
kid's like
terrible.
too young to write stuff, you're just writing all of it anyway.
Yeah,
then,
and it's like, yeah, and then like even if your kid does get a Valentine's, like technically that should be your Valentine.
I know.
It's not fair.
I know it should be.
All right,
You're
other things I could have
Anyway.
done for you: decorate, make your house romantic. Did not do that.
Oh, especially look at that. That's like donut wall.
No, I didn't do it.
I really could have used.
You know
a
what else I
donut
didn't do?
wall.
Make a photo book. Did not do that.
Oh, our first Valentine's, I made you that.
Oh, you did make me a collage of photos.
Yeah, that
That's
I
interesting
had
because the
printed and
next
put on
one is recreate your first date. And when our first Valentine's, you sent me a collage of photos and you with a picture of our first date, I think.
Well, it wasn't a picture of our first date
But
because there's no
basically,
photos of that,
right.
but it's the first photo we took together. Is on it. Yeah.
Right. Although there probably are pictures of our first date since somebody was with us who had a camera, if I think about it.
Well, that wasn't our first date. That was our first
Oh,
random
right. We're
encounter.
getting, yeah,
our
we're getting
first
to it.
date
All
was
right,
at the
take a
Rose
class.
Garden.
Did not do
Didn't take a
that.
picture.
Make a charcuterie board. No, didn't
I'm
do
not-
it. But
wait.
I got fish tacos in there.
I'm not a charcuterie
I'm not
board
either.
person.
Yeah, so you're lucky.
Mostly
because
because I don't eat like salamis.
Right.
Like I feel like if you're somebody who doesn't eat salamis, like what does it become then? Walnuts
Okay.
and cheese on a board?
Send a Valentine's, and the next one is make cards. Now, I did send you flowers. That counts as Valentine's. There was chocolate involved, I think, and I had a card with it. So all of that I get credit for.
All right. Well, you have to take whatever you wrote on that card
Yeah.
and give it to me in the form of another card.
And
Because
another
I
one
want
is
that
plan a
love.
movie-
I want that. Okay.
Plan a movie marathon.
You didn't plan it.
I did. We watched them on Netflix. And we watched that Pussycats movie or
Oh,
something.
God.
All right, whatever. So the point is, I did a lot, and you're welcome.
I expect all of those things next year. All of them. Just so you know. All
All
of
right,
them.
fine. Then I expect more Old Navy shirts.
Okay. You may or may not have more coming in the mail
Oh,
as
really?
we speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, it's a romantic time. It's COVID. I'm unemployed. We're on lockdown, and it's a good time for love.
I mean, it's like you also have so many not other social things to do. Like you could have tried harder.
I know. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Good. Feel bad.
Okay, good. But again, in my defense, I called around for restaurants. They were
Okay.
all fucking covered with COVID, and then the snow thing, the movie theater thing, and then but look, the fish tacos were good. Moving on.
Okay. Moving on.
But I'm glad you're my Valentine.
I love
look
you.
beautiful.
Aw. Oh, thank you.
I don't want to get makeup on my face.
I know, I have a lot of
Okay,
lipstick
but
on.
you look beautiful.
Thanks.
And let's get into some stuff that doesn't make
Babies.
me look bad. Yes, babies.
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 We don't have a baby,
We don't have a baby.
But we have 2 babies in our family now.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
2 nieces.
Kind of 3 if you count my nephew is 2.
Our nephew.
2?
Yeah.
It's kind of babyish.
Yeah. But anyway, so, I was, I don't know why, because we're just like, being well, I don't know a good word for it. Just like an onslaught of adorable.
There's been a lot of adorable baby
newborn
pictures. Yeah.
pictures just like coming at us like all day, every day. It's amazing.
It's interesting because I think
And-
my niece from my brother's, my biological niece here was cuter than your niece right out the gate.
Oh my God.
But your
This is
niece
not
has
a
passed my niece.
This is not a contest.
Because now your niece
This is not
has
a
got
contest.
more of a smile going, and my niece is really sleepy a lot.
They're different ages.
I
babe.
know.
They're like
A
3
month
and a half.
apart. Yeah.
They're like 3.5 weeks
So I feel
apart
like
in
my
age.
niece, but she jumped out ahead, but now your niece is really.
This is inappropriate.
Okay,
This is-
sorry.
You cannot compare babies. But
Can't wait till they're old enough to fight. Put them in a little pen, just let them go nuts.
But they're not technically even cousins of each other. You realize that? Like they're not related at all.
No, but they're related through
Like
the
they could
scope
get
of
married
marriage.
to each other, and that would be okay.
I would love
'Cause
that.
They share no
I think
DNA.
that'd be great. I would think that we should push for that. We should insist upon that.
I'm just saying, like theoretically, that would be okay. Which
Okay.
is weird, but
Let's not do it.
okay.
We'll see.
Well, anyway, I mean,
The point is, we've gotten a lot of adorable baby pictures, some cuter than others.
So we were just thinking about like things to talk on the podcast today.
Yeah.
How do you interact? How do you tie in newborns with sex and relationships?
Well,
and stuff?
newborns and the
Well, they're
connection to
product of
sex
sex.
is fairly
Right.
obvious. Yeah.
But I was just saying, I was just thinking randomly, it popped into my head, what I learned from med school, since I don't, do a lot of baby stuff in my adult urology practice right now. But, and I was just thinking from med school, it's interesting because when you are a newborn, you basically have puberty, like mini puberty. And I was just commenting on that, and you were like, I had no idea. Right.
What does that mean? You have mini puberty?
So there are 3 phases of your life where you kind of have a surge in the brain hormones that activate your either like estrogen or sperm production, or basically your gonad function. Okay. And your gonads are either your testicles or your ovaries. Okay. And so those 3 times are like during the middle of your fetal development. Okay. So that's like
month 4.5, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And that's responsible for, a lot of the external sex characteristics, right? So like if a male fetus in utero or a genetically, male sex fetus in utero didn't have that testosterone surge at that point in time, you'd probably have a smaller penis, or your testicles wouldn't come down and pop out of your body. So some of those things, you may have kind of an intersex state when you come out. So that's one of the surges, obviously important for a number of reasons.
Right. You want to, if you can, you want to get that surge in.
You got it.
It's important to get that
You wanna
surge
get
in.
that surge
Yeah, you
in.
want to get that surge in. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Get that surge in. Remember Surge, that soda?
No, I don't.
Surge was like a Mountain Dew that tried to launch in like 96. Anyway, keep going. It's not
Remember
important.
like clear Pepsi?
I liked Clear Pepsi. It was good.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not. It didn't taste like Pepsi.
It tastes like Pepsi.
Really?
And it was clear. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. I mean,
it was
let's
Clear Pepsi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, keep going. What's the next puberty stage? It was clear though, just to be clear.
I mean, so puberty is formally the thing that happens like when we
Yeah.
all think of puberty, but I'm saying these are like the phases of, sex hormones surging, okay?
Yeah.
So then there's 2 things that happen when you're like right out the gate as a human, right? When you're like born. So when you're born, you do have a lot of estrogen in your body, male or female.
And that's why the doctor gives you a slap around the tush right when you're born, right? Is that no? Is that
Oh
not
my
right?
God.
Is that
that's
not
the
correct?
Worst thing ever.
Sorry,
You
I'm
don't
just-
slap the baby on the butt anyway.
I thought you see in old kind of movies, you see him give him a baby little swat.
Maybe they swat it on the back or something so they're gonna cough.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Because
Yeah.
like they're not slapping
All
in the
right,
butt.
so I'm just
I
guessing.
mean, that's
now.
just like hilarious. How many
Whoosh.
decades of your life did you just thinking like that when you were born, somebody slapped you on the butt?
I thought that explained a lot of the things that I deal with on a daily basis. I figured that was all came from that one slap. right there on the tush.
Oh, you felt like
It's something. I don't know. It's just dealt with a lot of issues.
Traumas.
Yeah, the fact that it happened in front of my
All
mom and then my dad was there. It is a whole thing. Whatever. It's gone.
Okay. So this is not formally one of those surges, but when you're born, you do have a lot of estrogen in your body from your mother, okay, right? Because your mother, like lots of estrogen in her body, she's super pregnant, it's coming across the placenta, and both, all babies, male or female, are getting that estrogen, right? So when you come out of the womb, you have like certain neonates, right? New babies, infants, can have breast enlargement. They even say like females can have swollen appearing labia.
Really?
All from that, yeah. All from
because there's still just like a bunch of excess estrogen just shooting around in their system.
They have like tons of estrogen in their body. All the babies when they come out, they're just like raging estrogen. Whoa. So that's the first, right?
That's so interesting. So their bodies actually go in reverse development for a second there in terms of certain things. Like if you're saying they have certain like swollen breasts and stuff because of estrogen.
Well, the estrogen
and
levels
then it goes down, so like they actually kind of go back a little bit, and then obviously forward.
Yeah, so the estrogen levels go down, but then what they see is that for the first few months of life, you have this surge in these, again, the hormones from your brain, which signal down to your gonads, right? So those are called your...
I feel like at this point you're just trying to say gonads. Like I feel like you're just like...
I just miss the days when people used to say nads.
I know, but this is like you made a bet with yourself. Like
nads.
I bet I can work in gonads 12 times on this podcast.
Okay, if you say gonads enough times, then people are going to walk away from this podcast remembering...
Actually, if you say gonads 5 times in a row, it's like Beetlejuice and a giant creature made of testicles.
Say it.
Not going to do it. You're not going to want to see what happens.
You're just saying that because whatever. I'm not going to go on a tangent. Okay, so anyway, those are basically these they're produced by your pituitary.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're these they're called gonadotropins.
There it is. That's number 5.
The gonadotropins.
Okay.
And so those,
6.
go high.
Yeah.
And so I think it's somewhere between like 1 and 3 months where the infants are basically having a surge of those brain chemicals that signaling to their gonads, and they're
12.
having this surge of their testosterone or their estrogen or whatever it is. Okay. And they actually...
And that's just like a built-in, it's on a clock, huh?
It's on a clock.
Your body just knows to do it.
Yeah.
Like a baby sea turtle being able to find where it was born. Little fact we picked up in Hawaii. But it's just something that says genetically born.
Yeah.
Your body's like, time to gonad it up to 15.
Yeah. And it's fascinating because they were showing that even if you're born prematurely, you'll have that peak of the gonadotropins at the same time post like conception as a baby that was born full term. So you see what I'm saying? Like it's not that your gonadotropins peak at 1 month after you're born. They would peak at, let's say, 44 weeks post-conception. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether or
so
not
wow, that's amazing. So once is the conception, that shit is like hardwired in right away.
I mean, it's like you're on this launching pad of like things that are going to happen, right? It's like all...
Yeah, that's fascinating.
like the machinery's all working. But it was also interesting because they were showing this interesting thing where I have to see the graph. But it was really interesting. There was actually, if you were born prematurely, a higher kind of contiguous phase of the sex steroids being higher.
Huh.
And, they were saying part of this period of having the sex hormones be high is related to, for example, like penis size and testicles dropping out and stuff. So it was just interesting to me to think that, like, has anybody studied if men born prematurely have like bigger penises on average? And I have no idea, and I'm sure it's never been studied.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine that it's been studied. And what do you do with that information?
Absolutely nothing.
Look, you want to be hung, you might want to kick that sucker out a little bit.
Yeah, also proposing to get like funding for that study would be like, what?
So
it wouldn't be hard to do, right?
No,
you just ask people, were you born prematurely, and then measure their penis. That's like once they're an adult, and just see what it is.
Who the hell knows? Do you think the average person knows they were born prematurely?
Yeah, the average person does, of course.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in conclusion, we're going to put our nieces up on our Instagram page, and you guys vote on who you think's cuter. So
No, we're
going to
not
put them
doing
side
that.
by
We're
side,
not doing
and
that.
just let us know in the
Absolutely
comments
not
who
doing
you
that.
think's niece is bringing it.
But yeah, so anyway, just to finish this
Okay.
off, right? So then you go into this quiescent phase where you're not making sex steroids, right? So it's like most of
You're just kind of out of the game.
right. So
You're just
when
like, I
you're,
gotta cool out.
like, yeah, you're doing most of young childhood, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, and you're basically all your hormone levels are low, and then during puberty they jump back up again, right? And then they stay high.
That's kind of like what's it called in psychology? The latency period.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you go through like a completely unsexual kind of phase when you're like a kid.
Yeah.
Like for a certain amount of time. And I think it's like, yeah, you could have more sexual thoughts. Well, you're saying chemically you have more sexual, or you have more testosterone or estrogen in your body when you're like percentage wise when you're an infant than you do probably when you're like 8.
Oh, well, some people go through puberty really young.
Well, okay, but
let's
assuming
say
you don't,
you have
yeah.
way more testosterone in your body when you're a month old than when you're 5.
That's just weird. But
Yeah.
percentage wise,
Yeah.
that's bizarre.
Yeah. Like if you were going to take yourself back in time and draw your blood when you were a month old and measure your
I would
testosterone
just
level,
been ready to rock. Just ready to rock.
it would have been it might have been even higher than it is
It's so
now.
funny when you think about like, you see like how like pathetic and helpless babies are, for forever, basically for so long, so many years of their lives, they can't do
Yeah.
anything. And then a dog gives birth to its puppies, and like basically like those puppies are going to have to start fucking in like 4 months. You know
Is
what I
that
mean?
how quickly?
I don't know. It's not 4 months, but it's fast. Like it's sort of like if you're an animal, it's like, all right, you're born. I'll get out there and find a mate in about 3 weeks. Like I think
I
the
mean, it
clock is
depends,
ticking.
right? Because we're talking about it. Like if you're a sea turtle who lives like 100
Well, it's like
years,
sea turtles. They don't start
you know,
fucking until they're like 30 or 40.
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes.
I mean, they're like the people in Portland.
Yeah, it is.
Just like, I don't know. I just feel like people here probably don't have sex until they're
If
30
people
years
in
old.
Portland were any kind of animal, it would be sea turtles.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly. They're kind of like passive and they're
Yeah, they're
vegetarians
turtly,
and they're like, kind of like don't come too close to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And-
I'm not having sex till I'm 40. I'm a vegan. That's a funny
Take
thing
a
about sea
nap,
turtles. They what's that?
they're just take naps,
They take a lot of naps.
Look
But
at
sea
their-
turtles eat meat only when they're young and they're developing, and then once they get older, they don't do it.
Yeah.
And that is the story of Hanukkah, in case anyone was wondering.
I mean, there are certain things with humans, right? Like when you're born, you
You
You're
drink
not-
a lot
you're
more
not-
of your mother's breast milk than you do when you're an adult.
well,
Way
no,
more.
I mean, I was going to say something along that line, right? You're not lactose intolerant
Right.
because by definition, you like can't be lactose intolerant because you.
Well, maybe you are, and you
Or-
just
or
shit
milk
all the time.
allergy.
Maybe that's why babies are just shitting all the
no,
time.
but you don't have like milk allergy, right? I mean, you just don't. So
Yeah, but
because then
lactose
you-
intolerant generally makes people like have to shit a lot, and babies are just shitting all the time
no,
anyway.
I'm
So,
really sure that they've studied this, and like
oh, okay.
yeah.
I've studied it just by noticing that they shit a lot. That's my whole
All right.
study.
Okay, okay.
So anyway, we'll put the pictures of the nieces up there,
No, we
and
won't.
just
We're
with
just
a
gonna-
fire
what we're gonna-
emoji or a frozen face
No,
emoji. Let
this
us
is-
know.
This is what we're gonna do instead.
Okay,
We're
let's hear
gonna
it.
put photos of me and you when we were infants
Ooh,
online.
I think I will win
and
that.
see who was cuter.
I will win that.
No way.
Babe, I love you. You're much better looking than me now, and you're gorgeous. But I've seen you as a kid,
What?
and you
Huh?
grew into it.
I
peaked at like
adorable.
9 months old. I was full of estrogen and testosterone at the same time, just a powder keg.
All right,
we'll do
this
that.
is
though.
happening.
We'll
We're
do
gonna
that. All right,
yeah.
we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, I want to take a question. We got an email here. It's a pretty short question. I don't know why I had to bring over my computer here. But all right, here's a question. Came into thefullreleasepod@gmail.com.
Send us your questions there.
Send us your questions.
There are so many different ways to message nowadays, right? Like you could find us on Instagram and send a message, or
The
Twitter.
Full Release Pod.
But you should just email our Gmail account. People sometimes send messages through our like website. It's so many places. Like please just email our Gmail account.
But we'll take them however we can get them at the same time. Right?
That's what he said.
That's what. Right. Okay.
7.
12. Okay. So this is a question
Gonads.
for the first time. I'm with first says, I love the show. Thank you guys. Hope you put out more episodes this year, and we will do that.
I hope you guys are actually married.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hope you're not married. You're actually married, not actors. Go nuts. For the first time, I'm with a larger person physically. It's a great relationship, but they kind of have a bad smell. I'm wondering if this is in regard to their weight, and if so, how can I tell them about this? Well, I'll just go ahead and answer that last part. You probably can't. No, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think
that's going to be a tricky conversation to have.
I mean, I think it depends on how comfortable people are with each other, right? Like, I mean, obviously, if you have started dating this person and becoming sexually active with this person while they were at the current, size that they're at, you find them really attractive and beautiful at their current size, right? So asking them something that is potentially related to their size is not necessarily saying, any judgment against their body.
Right. And because assuming unless this person has gained like a ton of, well, first of all, I guess we have to identify, do you think this smell could be something related to the weight?
I mean, it depends on, how large somebody is and how their hygiene is. And there are definitely other reasons why people could smell, right? Like this person didn't know them before, right?
They were heavy,
They were heavier, or maybe they've been heavy their whole lives. But, there are people who have like medical, sweating conditions, for example, right? Or there are people who have like medical.
Is that what I tend to have? Because you say that I'm constantly sweaty when I wake up and my pillow smells terrible.
I mean, it's possible. But yeah, I mean, that's something called like hyperhidrosis, which is where you have really just excessive sweating. But that doesn't necessarily relate to body odor.
Right.
In fact, a lot of body odor is actually related to testosterone. And it tends to be part of the reason why women don't smell as bad as guys. It's not. It's like
you have
like
no bad smell and you don't actually sweat. That's actually pretty amazing. If you worked out and you don't, but if you did, it would be really convenient for you because you wouldn't have to shower.
But yeah, I mean, people tend to like rail on guys for being gross and smelling bad, but a lot of it has to do with like their hormones, and it's not really fair because
well, I don't know if you've noticed this with life. You don't have doesn't have to be somebody's fault for you to attack them for it.
Right.
Matter of fact, it's a lot of fun if it's not their fault.
Right. Right, there you go. But so, getting back to that, okay, so there are many reasons you could have body odor.
Right.
But
what are some of the reasons? Say it is because of the weight. Why? In what regard can being heavy cause certain smells?
I mean, primarily, I've seen that certain individuals, let's say if they have skin folds, can just develop, areas that are harder to clean between, right? And may become moist and may, develop fungal infections that are not dangerous and, potentially don't smell, but just, having potential skin folds that are moist and, not necessarily accessed.
So it's basically like
potentially lead to
it's
that.
just harder to clean yourself, kind of, if you have a lot of skin folds or you're just like.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like even if you're super hygienic and you shower every day and whatever, there just may be areas that you're not aware of.
Right. It's kind of like, the way that we've talked about this on this show where people who aren't circumcised can get a little like rash or smegma in there because they don't remember to like pull it down. You have a lot of like foreskin it's kind of like the same sort of, foreskin type things all over your body.
Yeah, exactly. That's the good way to say it. You can have kind of like protected areas.
Right. Protective area. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, not foreskin. Not foreskin all over your body. Oh, that does sound like funny. If someone just had like foreskins all over them.
But yeah, so anyway, I certainly think it could be the case. I've definitely seen patients of mine who are, heavier and have skin folds and have no body odor. And, that's the vast majority of the time.
That they have none. No smell.
Definitely. But then there are certain definitely people who maybe miss an area and potentially have smell related to that. But again, I'm not saying that it's always
But then again,
case.
I've been with some skinny people who'd smell as well. So that's also kind of weird.
Yeah.
Some people just have, I think sometimes people have like a weird diet and it makes their smell strange.
Sure. There you go. Yeah. Or they're just rolling around in poop.
There's also that, but how do you resist? If it's there, you got to roll around in it, It's just, this is how I was raised,
So anyway, my advice to this person would just be maybe just really kindly approach them and be like, hey, I've noticed like
Yeah.
something about your body odor, right? And again, it just depends on like the level of trust.
I have a good idea.
Wait. Like,
Okay.
maybe not your first date,
Yeah,
but like
definitely not your first date. Yeah.
Like I always talk to you about how you always have a booger and like one side
Right.
of your nose, and it hasn't crushed our relationship. He starts wiping his nose right now, but and just like say, hey, have you ever talked to a doctor about that, or have you looked into it? And maybe they have some insights on it, like
Right.
and maybe if you say,
Well, if they
hey,
have insights
I
on
think
it
you
and they
have-
haven't been doing something about it, that's weird.
well, maybe they just don't like notice because they are around themselves all the time, right? So they
Right.
don't notice the smell. But say like,
That
I'm
is
really
true,
attracted
yeah.
to you. I love dating you. This is something that
I will continue wearing this clothespin on my nose if necessary. That's how much I love you.
Yeah. No, and again, this isn't like to be judgmental. And, if they're like, this is me and, I'm okay with the way I smell, then, you have to make a judgment call whether or
Right.
not you have, that's important to you or you can get over it, because everybody has what they're attracted to.
Of
and
course.
not.
I mean, everyone's got, if it's not a bad smell, it's something. But I was going to suggest another thing you could do. You don't have to bring it up with your partner of any size, regardless of what size. If they do have a bad smell, you say, do you want to role play? Let's act out a scene from like a movie, sexually. And then pick that scene in Shawshank Redemption where they get naked and they shoot him with a fire hose and throw soap all over them and stuff.
Babe,
And
come
de-licing.
on.
Then you get things going. You clean them off. Little hose down.
Babe.
No? All right. Look, I mean,
And that's like the worst advice.
I think it's good advice.
is to like secret role
So we're
play,
gonna put
shower
our
them.
nieces on
Oh,
Instagram.
God.
We're gonna let you weigh in. I actually have a fun little.
I'm cuter than Mo.
Well, you're kidding me now, but I don't know if you were.
Yeah, okay. Share your information with us.
Okay, so I was digging around things to talk about, and I found this article. It's not new. It came out like 4 years ago. It's on Psychology Today, but I thought it was pretty interesting. And basically, the premise of the article in Psychology Today was, are funny people better lovers? And as I'm saying that, my wife is yawning, just a huge yawn. That's one of my favorite things about doing this podcast. I don't feel like I get a chance to see you yawn while I talk as often until we do the podcast.
Well,
I need to try to make you yawn
told me more
more
of your jokes. Then...
Okay. Oof. Hurtful.
Ooh, woo.
Well, you're not going to like
Just
it.
kidding. I think you're hilarious.
If you don't think I'm funny, it's really not going to help you, this article, because according to this article, funny men give more orgasms. Women
So because comedians always want like an audience response.
Maybe that's true. They didn't go into that, but
you
it's
guys are just craving approval, you funny guys.
Oh, that's interesting. So that
need
really makes it sound
feedback.
kind of pathetic. This made it sound like good lovers, but this makes it sound kind of needy.
But think about it. I mean, there is something about people who are funny that they're making jokes and everything because they desire
Validation.
that affirmative
Yeah.
response out of people, right? Like if you're never going around trying to make any jokes, it's like you don't care for people to laugh at what you have to say,
Well, or what if you're getting so much validation as a stand-up or getting so many laughs that when you do have sex, you don't need that orgasm validation at all? There's also that way to think about it.
Oh, so you're saying like only unsuccessful
Yeah.
comedians are good in bed?
Yeah, I want to see that article. What level of comics do better? They
Once
didn't say
he starts
comedians.
doing theater shows or stadiums,
You're not gonna come at all.
No orgasms.
Dry like a desert down there.
No way.
So I think this is interesting. So one of the things they said is, first of all, they said a study has examined that women whose partners are attractive and have symmetrical faces and who make a lot of money and are more muscular, the women with guys like that experience more orgasms.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
And
believe that.
That's what this says.
I feel just like gross experience is that like the more
Previous
money
studies
you make
demonstrate
and the more
how-
symmetric you are, the less you try.
All right. Well, it says not only do they have more orgasms, they have better orgasms.
That's why when I first noticed their septal deviation, I was just like, oh, he's gonna be a good lover.
Oh, he's got a jacked up nose that's going to let me see a booger, and he's going to be a great lover.
Yeah, but it's so asymmetric.
And these are just
good
through
lover.
penetration, though. I should clarify. These are just through penetration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that might change things up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. But then they said after that, or after the good looks, the rich, and that they found that some of the other things that women respond to is sense of humor, and they guess that it's because humor can be associated with intelligence, and intelligence in our society is a sign that someone's going to make a lot of money or be successful or capable. So women, this is where I think is very fascinating. They said, in conclusion, a partner with a great sense of humor has many advantages for women, including a better sex life and more sexual enjoyment. It is important to note that the relationships found in the study, while only correlational, are consistent with what we know about the allure of humor. The study reinforces the importance of humor in relationships, and it will be interesting to examine whether this relationship, listen to this, is also true for men who have sex with funny women. And then in parentheses, my prediction would be it does not exist or would be much weaker. So that's saying if a guy's funny with a woman, she's going to orgasm more. The idea of whether a funny woman is going to make a guy orgasm more, he thinks will not be the case. Now that's kind of fascinating because
we have to look up the follow-up data to this because you said it's old.
It's 2015 or 16.
And we got to look it up. Well,
I think
it was saying that if a guy is funny, he's not, that the importance of his funniness on the relationship is not that important if the woman is also funny. No. Basically just one person has to be funny.
But it's saying if the woman is funny, it's not going to make the guy orgasm or have better orgasms.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to look into this.
Kind of fascinating. But I also think it's a little bit weird that he would make that guess, considering that he's saying that why women find humor funny or why humor works into orgasms is because it's a sign of intelligence. So is he basically saying men don't care how smart women are?
I don't know. I just need to. I need to see.
I'm with him. By the way, I do think it'll have less of an effect because I think men are, and this is what I think he was driving at. Men are very much more visual sexually, and women, in my guess, are more. There's more things that turn them on. Although according to that study, not really, because if you're muscular and you have good features, then you're gonna make women orgasm more, according to that study. So I don't know. Maybe we're equally shallow.
I mean, when I just think back on it, I definitely dated people who were funny and not good in bed, and people who were not funny and were good in bed. So I don't know. But I mean, that's not like a study.
It's not the be all end all, but it is. Basically, it sounds like if you're good looking, it's the best, though. That's if your partner's good looking, that's when you're going to orgasm more.
That's the moral of this episode.
But that's kind of what it said.
All right.
Which is kind of sad, if it's like, what if that's what it all came down to?
I need to review this data.
But wouldn't that be sad, though, if it all came down to that? It's like, if you could calculate how many orgasms you're going to have just based on how good looking your partner is. I don't think that's the case. It hasn't been the case in my line of work, but in my life. But that seems to be what it says.
And then it would also be like if somebody got plastic surgery and was more stereotypically
You're like, I'm about
attractive.
to come more.
I mean, is that the question? I mean, can somebody study that? Like, hey, this cohort of people became classically more symmetric or classic, based on these objective definitions of beauty. And then their sexual partners were more satisfied before and after?
Or conversely, if intelligence and capability are a sign of what's going to help women orgasm more, what if you took a bunch of Adderall, or in the future where you can get one of those sort of remember those movies where they take
Adderall
a pill and you get smarter?
Improve intelligence.
Okay, well, say you took one of those pills, like that stupid movie where the guy took it and then he got smarter.
All right, but that doesn't exist yet. So
okay, and maybe it's not a stupid movie. I haven't seen it. But say
but
I've never seen
that,
it. But would that? I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just a question. What traits do you think would guess would contribute more to orgasms?
I don't know. I think part of it is probably education.
You think education?
Yeah. And relationship dynamics, right? If you are, and probably sexual experience, right? If you.
Well, they did say that. They said women, actually this is interesting. They said women who orgasm more tend to have more sexual experience than women who don't. But that's kind of chicken or the egg there, right? Because if you're enjoying sex more and you're orgasming, you're probably going to go have more sex, right? And conversely, you wouldn't if it's not leading to something maybe.
I mean, I just,
or maybe not.
In sex ed class, right? Nobody ever said, a lot of women will never orgasm from penetration. They need stimulation of their clitoris to orgasm, right?
Yeah, why don't they say that?
Such a simple concept. Was never told to us. Sex ed was like, this is how you put a condom on a banana, and this is how you get somebody pregnant, and you can get pregnant the first time you have sex, when you lose your virginity.
You never saw your sex ed teacher go, all right, kids, do this with your finger here. See what you're doing here with your finger? Just stay in this little teeny area, and then there you go.
And I'm not saying that you have
do
to
it for 45 minutes, and then switch hands.
I'm not saying you have to train people to how to have sex, but just explain the basic function
Right.
of like erogenous zones.
No, I agree.
Right? Because so the problem is that was never taught.
Yeah.
And then when you and I were growing up, it was like the internet wasn't as good. And we didn't have a cell phone. And, like a lot of girls.
Porn
just
is almost
didn't
entirely, straight porn at least is almost entirely penetration.
Right. So you would just have your first sexual experiences and be like, oh, this is how sex is. I
Yeah.
didn't orgasm. Okay, that's how sex works. I don't orgasm. Right.
Right.
And then, if you were somebody who, let's say,
And they're like,
married,
yes, and welcome to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
I hope you're enjoying yourself.
No, I'm just saying, right? And then hopefully later down the line, you read about it or say, hey, I'm interested in having an orgasm, or is this normal, or blah, 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 and like do education. But definitely, somebody who maybe, had more partners or settled down later, came across somebody who knew how to get a woman off with her clitoris. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And this is all speaking from like a heteronormative place. But, I know that at some point in time, I came to understand, like my workings. And then after that, when I had had sex with a guy, I would be like, here, and take his hand and
Right.
put it in the place,
Right.
And then it was fascinating to me that sometimes I could tell that a guy had never done that before, or never had a woman
Just tell him what she wants before.
be like, okay, you're going to get me off and you didn't do it with your penis. Now go. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Like, and, but I just
Is that
didn't
what
care.
you'd say to them?
No, I wouldn't say that
Now
to them.
go.
No, you basically take
Did
your
you take a little starter pistol?
No, you basically take their hand and you kind of like
Right.
gently guide it
I
into
remember
the
being with a
area.
girl in college who was like, all right, you came, and she's like, now I want you to hold this vibrator on me. And I was very surprised by.
Really?
Yeah, I just never thought of it before.
But it was probably easy for you.
It was pretty easy, yeah. But it did sort of feel like a little bit of like, I remember thinking at the time, like, why am I here?
Babe, come on.
But this is me at 18.
No,
I'm just saying that's
yeah.
what I thought. I'm
Right,
not saying
yeah.
that, but at that time, I remember thinking like, this is strange. Now, and I've had that happen plenty of times as an adult. It's not strange, and it makes more sense. But at that time, I was kind of like, I don't understand. Like,
it was the first time it happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it. Seemed to work
Yeah.
very well for her.
Yeah.
Worked very well.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is good. We've been sharing.
We have been sharing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that about it? Or
Yeah,
is there
I think that's it. I'm starving.
Yeah, I'm starving to. There might have been one other thing I wanted to kind of touch on here. Vamp to camera. Oh, guys, if you want to hear a very different kind of podcast where me and another Jewish guy say a bunch of ridiculous stuff and go through different news from a Jewish perspective, check out Jews Control the Media. Check us out on YouTube. Oh, I know what I wanted to play. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my friend Tyson is in an awesome band.
And we're going to play this as
And we are going to play it.
sign
Yeah,
off here.
it's really cool. His band's called Domestic Tiger. All right, so check it
Ooh.
out. They put out a new EP called Night Brain.
Night
And
Brain.
I'm a big fan of this band, and I'm a big fan of this EP. So my friend Tyson, he's a great guy, and he put out this EP called Night Brain. Check it out. The Domestic Tiger is the band.
You can
They're
get on
fucking
Spotify.
great. You get him on Spotify. He's a big fan of the
Apple
show.
Music.
Apple Music, I'm sure. Trying to figure out which song I want to play. What is a good one to play? I think it's let's play Bored. Yeah, Bored. It's a really good song. You will not be bored while you listen to it. And so please check it out. Domestic Tiger, my friend Tyson. The EP is called Night Brain. And Tyson, you remember the guy with the balls who sent in the picture of the balls?
Oh, yeah.
This may or may not be that guy. I don't want to out him.
nice.
I don't want to say it is, but this may or may not be the guy whose balls you've seen.
So don't think about his balls while you listen to this song.
Yeah, or
Don't
do.
think about it.
Or don't. But
I mean, or that guy, it might have been.
You might have seen the guy's balls. Now you're going to listen to his music. So we're going to go out on that. And thank you so much, guys. Subscribe
Bye,
and
guys.
please give us a good rating on iTunes. Night Brain, Bored, Tyson, Domestic Tiger, coming up.
Mother, I'm not ready for it all to end. I'm too young, still got all this love to give. I'm not giving up. done. I won't go down without a fight. Can't keep the room from spinning. One day it all just stops. Move like an elevator. Get closer to the top, oh yeah, so what? Y'all wanna life with meaning. Resolve that minor chord. Today we take back our lost time. 'Cause one day we'll miss when we were bored. We're bored. We were bored. Always got to one is gone to sleep. Got all this love to give you. Daylight come, I'm not ready for it. Always got to one is gone to sleep. I'm not ready for it all to end.
Ashley and I would like to thank all of you for listening to our humble podcast. Please subscribe and give us a good rating. Tell all your friends, and don't forget, we are answering all your questions at 213-631-3460 or at thefullreleasepod@gmail.com.